Thank you very
Welcome
much.
to The Lion Roars with Phil Margo, heard exclusively on MalcolmPresents.com.
MalcolmPresents.com. Yay.
Yeah,
And
that's
Phil
it.
Margo and Lion Roars.
Yeah,
And
versus the lion was sleeping long enough.
well, yeah, and actually, yes, the lion always roars a little bit every twice a year. It roars, you know, when I get my royalty statements. Um, anyway, I had an interesting couple of weeks. I don't know if I mentioned this on the air, but I had this project that I really felt positive about. You know, I felt strongly about. You know, as you know, I've been watching Hallmark movies for the
Right.
last year because of the pandemic, and because it's an escape from the reality of the nightmare. You know, and and the men are always gentlemen and the ladies are always wonderful, and it always ends with a kiss, and it's, you know, and they're similar stories. You know, you, you see a small town, there's always a small town, whether it's snowy or not snowy. If it's a summertime, it's green, and it's a small town in Vermont. It's probably actually somewhere in Canada, you know, outside of one of the small cities in Canada.
Or a soundstage. And
No, no, well, it's a soundstage with a background that looks like a background. And,
right.
you know what I mean? I mean, so you let all of that go because the Hallmark ladies are charming and lovely, and and the acting is nice. You know, you like them, and so I've been watching them, and I I I noticed the similarities in them, and I kept thinking, how could we do this differently? They always go over to a Christmas tree on the Christmas show, and they do about 40 or 50 Christmas shows a year, you know, and even mentioning Hanukkah occasionally. They did one where a young woman who was a uh, owned a restaurant, was a chef, uh, did a DNA on her and found out, and it was an Italian restaurant, and her mother was Italian, and her mother was a cook, and she did a DNA and found out that she was half Jewish, right? I mean, the one thing about Hallmark is it's very encompassing. It has gays, it has mixed couples, you know, because they do cards, you know, it's Hallmark cards, so they deal in life every day in the drugstores and in the card stores. They deal in real life, so they do it actually in in their movies subtly. I mean, they don't, you know, it ends with a kiss. No matter what, it's a kiss. It's nothing more, and it's not a deep kiss, it's a kiss, you know.
Yeah, but now I don't know about Hallmark, but now the kisses, which you never heard before, either two guys could be kissing or two women could
Yes,
be
yes,
kissing.
yes, it's right. No, it's wonderfully, for a company that was so religious, you know what I mean? Because you're in church half the time, you know. I
Right.
mean, you know, and they talk religion a lot, but it's become, you know, pretty like their cards, you know. You can buy Hanukkah cards on Hallmark, so why don't they talk about Hanukkah? Well, they do.
Yeah.
And
But
so,
anyway, you
but
were
anyway, so without doing a commercial for Hallmark, they're doing well. Um, so I said, how do you do these things differently? How do you do a Christmas hanging an ornament on a branch, or saying, "Oh, look at the snow," you know, "Oh wow, it's snowing," you know. I mean, some of that stuff is so routine, or when they do the almost kiss, but somebody comes in or a bell rings, or
okay.
you know, they just in the middle of it, you know,
Okay,
because
let me know how you how you can do it differently.
well, I came with ways, and I came up with an idea called Love and Christmas Out of This World. And it's about two people who kiss and in the dark and not know, they don't know who each other is. I don't want to get into the character so much, but the fact is that it was in the dark. She was coming into a house. They were playing a game where all the lights were out, and this. She's 17 years old. She's an accomplished pilot, and she was accepted to Johns Hopkins 6-year medical program, but she had no social life. The girl started it. So she's 17. Her mother finally convinces her to go out to the Christmas costume party.
Yeah.
She never goes out hardly at all. She has very few friends. And when she gets to the house, all the lights go out and she gets kissed by this guy who thought she was his girlfriend because they were playing a game called Susie McClue, where the girls go out and hide in the dark and the lights go out and the boys have to find them. And then the boys go out and the girls have to find them. So she gets this kiss and she's stunned by it and moved by it and moved to kiss back. And the guy says, "Who are you?" And she's embarrassed and she runs out. And she has his girlfriend's voice saying, "Honey, I'm here, you know."
Yeah.
So he turns out to be a first year's plebe at Annapolis, right? This takes place in Maryland.
Okay.
So he's a first year plebe. She's starting Johns Hopkins for a 6-year medical course. And this is all in Maryland. And ultimately what happens is she becomes a doctor, a surgeon without borders. She travels all around the world, and he becomes he opts to become a fighter pilot, a carrier pilot. And to do that, he has to, if he doesn't solo and do a cross country, then he has to do certain courses at Annapolis. But if he can get to go outside, and this is true, by the way, if he can go outside and do a solo and get soloed and do a cross country trip, you know, in an aircraft on his own, then they waive that extra training that he needs to get. So he goes to the airport, and she's an instructor there. She's earning money, trying to put herself through college, you know. So she winds up helping him, but she doesn't. They don't know
Right. Okay.
what they mean to each other, and they both are looking for that kiss again, and they can't find it, you know.
Yeah.
And there's something surreal about that. And there's a couple of other occasions she goes out, and she's a doctor without borders. She flies around delivering medicine. A group of criminal people try to rob her of the medicines to sell on the black market, and she gets rid of them using knockout spray that she has in, you know. I mean, so there's all kinds of he's
right.
Yes. So you have all kinds of things, and they touch each other like Sleepless in Seattle. They touch each other but don't know who they are, you know.
Right.
Finally, he's still in the Navy, but he gets picked up by NASA. Okay, they recruit him, and they're looking for a doctor, an actual real doctor to send up to the space station instead of just a plain, you know, medic.
And I wonder who that is.
And yes, so he reads about her and remembers her from when she got him through that flight thing. So he recruits her, and she joins NASA. Now they're both in NASA.
Wait,
right?
before we get to the conclusion.
No, that's all I'm telling you.
Which is annoying me. The picture behind you is crooked. The record. Yeah, for some reason.
Oh, Jesus. No,
This is reality. Okay, better. Let's do away with it.
No,
Anyway.
And basically, so they both wind up on the space station.
Yeah,
that's why it's called Out of This World. They're up at the ITT. She comes up later. What happens is somebody gets hurt and they can't do anything up there, and they can't bring them down because just to trip down would cause more damage anyway. So they send her up.
Okay.
Right, to do
I get the last scene in the movie.
Okay, well, no, you don't really. So now it's Christmas.
Yeah.
So when they hang the Christmas ornaments on the tree, they float up
Right.
instead of hanging down. It's a different look.
No
Instead of
gravity.
going, we'll look at the snow, they say, we'll look at the eclipse, or look at the meteor shower below us, or look at the aurora borealis from the top, and all of the things that they do. They realize when they're outside working that the spacecraft gets hit by some debris, and they have to go out and fix it. So while they're going outside and fix it, because she's a surgeon and she could use these materials that she knows that she's used, and there was a bone thing that she created that could patch up the little hole and hold, right? So she goes out and they go out to do it, and then they realize who they are. Because he repeats something that he said to her back then, and she realizes. So they look at each other and they go over to kiss, but they can't because they're wearing helmets, right? So that kiss gets interrupted because they're out in space, right? And I mean, there's a whole bunch of other things, but that's one example. Those are a couple of examples.
It sounds like a
I
cute idea.
mean, instead of saying, "Oh, what a beautiful snow globe," they just look down and see the Earth.
Would you write the script, or would you hire a
Anyway,
screenwriter?
So anyway, and they get married on the spacecraft.
Yeah.
And when he says you may kiss the bride, they say, "Oh no, unless you want to step outside for half an hour or so, we can't do that. We're going to have to do that down there." Because they know if they kiss, they're going to, from what their original kiss was, they're going to be, ready to go. So she says, "Oh no." And the last scene would be down there on Earth, back on Earth when they're together in bed as a married couple. So it's okay. Anyway, that's the idea. And so my problem has been that I have no one to talk to. I have no connection, no contact. And if you don't have a contact, you just can't call up and say, "I have an idea." It's called unsolicited material, and no one wants to know or care.
Well, what you have to do is find an agent who has a screenwriter.
You can't find an agent. Agents don't want to take a 79-year-old guy.
Now you're only 78.
I'm 79.
Oh, when were you 79?
April 1st.
Ah.
I'm in my 80th year. Anyway, I did find somebody to talk to, and they are interested. It's a maybe, okay? Yeah. But instead of a not, it's a maybe. So that's kind of, I mean, what I want to do is write it and and produce it and be part of the production team, because that's what I did.
Right.
Not that I'm saying I want to be one. I was one.
You was one. You are one.
Yes. Well, I haven't done it in a while. The last movie I got production credit on is in 1994.
Okay.
Because this town is, the industry is. That's another reason why I like Hallmark. They have grandparents on their show. They have grandparents.
It's Phil. The question is, what haven't you done?
Well, I don't know. But anyway, so we'll see.
You haven't been on screen as an actor. Maybe that would be.
Yes, I have been. Oh. I don't forget. I've been on screen in commercials that we did.
And, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, we did commercials with Schmidt's beer.
Yeah, well, I know you did the jingles of them. I didn't know that
we did,
you were on camera.
Some of them actual live or voiceover.
Oh, yeah, that I knew, yeah.
Or sang on him. And then I appeared in a couple of movies that I produced, just to raise my SAG, and
But going back to doing things like that, I also, as we were talking earlier, what I want to do is resurrect the Tokens, to put you guys to do some concerts.
Well, you do understand that Jay Siegel is the original lead singer, is working still.
As the Tokens?
Yeah. Well, Jay Siegel's Tokens, they're called. Huh. But which did crimp our style a little bit, because a lot of the work was on the East Coast where he is.
Right? Wasn't there some sort of agreement with you guys that you would do the West Coast and he would do the East Coast, and there's
No
a
agreement really ever.
borderline.
There was no agreement. It's not, it doesn't pay to going into. The fact of the matter is that and now with Mitch gone, I'm the only one left on this side,
Yeah.
you know, of who was an original member. But Noah wants to do it, you know, and we're looking into it.
Yeah, but the question is there any possible way? And I know that, there's a lot of things that happen between you and Jay. Is there
No.
any possible way of you two talking?
No,
Yeah, well, he's probably around your same age, I
not
think.
my fault, but it'll never happen.
How old is Jay?
Jay is probably 81.
Yeah, well,
He's a couple of years older than me.
I mean, it might be time to bury the hatchet.
No, certain topics can't be buried.
Well, I don't agree with you. I think everything can be.
No,
I think as time goes on.
I wish that were true. It's true in most cases, but there are certain things that you can't turn your head around. You just can't.
Well, I mean, you don't necessarily forget things, but as I
No.
say, it's water under the bridge. You
First of all,
build anew.
it doesn't behoove anybody to do it now at this point.
Well,
what I
okay.
mean? Jay is working, and if I hear, I don't know, but I hear he is, and if he's healthy enough and well enough to be able to go out and work, that's grand.
Does he have any of the original tokens with him, or it's you two, only you
Well,
two?
there are no original tokens. We and Jay and I are the only ones.
Ah, okay.
There's no other ones. There was Jay, Mitch, Hank, and Phil. Hank is gone, Mitch is gone, and Jay and I are still around.
Okay, so there are only 4 originals.
Yes.
And wait, I spoke to. We're going to have a guest on the show next week.
Yes, Jay.
Jay.
Jay played with us for 25, 30 years already. Let's see, when did he start? I don't know.
But he wasn't an original, right? Actually, he was too young, he said. I spoke to him the other day to, as I say, he's booked on the show next week.
There's only 4 originals. That's it. Anybody who else says they're a token is a liar.
So, okay. So,
and I've run into that too.
I have to get hold of Jay and see for what his feelings are.
What?
I have to get a hold of Jay Siegel.
No, I don't. That'll never happen.
Okay. Anyway, after the 4 of you, when I went to several concerts that there was the tokens out here. I mean, it was years ago.
Yeah.
Your sons were a member, weren't they? They played in the band.
My son was playing drums, and Mike Johnson played keyboard, and Jay Leslie played sax, and Mitch played the guitar, and I just kind of was like the kind of mouth, and I played percussion and bongos. I used to play the drums. I used to play guitar. I used to play. Well, I used to play everything, you know. But as time went on, it was easier to just concentrate on doing the show and going from number to number.
Right, you act when the show. I remember seeing the shows. You acted more like, or you acted in addition as the MC.
Yeah,
introducing and talking about it.
and then we had the wonderful opportunity to have the girls with us. You know, those girls who I formed the group. I formed a group with 4 girls who were wonderful, and I enjoyed. They would perform with us. They'd sing "He's So Fine," you know. They'd sing "One Fine Day." It was delightful, and it was like a whole show. We did a 2-hour night, and it was really delightful.
Well, are there any performers?
And the girls sang the song.
Or are there any groups or performers that you wrote their music for that are still around? You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know what you mean.
You produced some of their records. The tokens didn't necessarily sing it, you produced their records. Are the groups still around?
I think the Randy and the Rainbows are still working. But the happenings are definitely working. Bob and the happenings are I recently saw him. He was the original lead singer.
And what
And so
song, what
they're
song,
working.
what record did
All
you
of the
produce?
actually all of the and the chiffons, I think, too, are still working.
So maybe we could do some sort of conglomerate show where you can include, you know, several of the old performers
You know,
and,
you're saying things that are impossible.
well, they said it was impossible to land on the moon or go up in a rocket ship.
Yeah, but no,
I don't know what's impossible if there's a desire. I mean,
I don't
you
have the
accomplished the
energy.
impossible.
I don't have the energy to work on
Well,
something.
that's something else.
Yeah, I just don't have the energy. It's too exhausting to me. You know, I'm 80 and I'm tired. You know, I don't feel like doing a whole lot of stuff anymore. Um, so
Have you read this book? It's called Keep Sharp
no.
by Sanjay Gupta. Read that. Excellent book, and it's about, actually it's about more like the brain and what the brain can accomplish and what it does. And he's talking a lot about Alzheimer and dementia, and but that's part of the beginning of it. He talks you know, what physically causes it, what you know, happens in the brain, but he also talks about how as we get older we can develop, we can grow the brain. The brain does not necessarily die. If we have, it's the I think it was from neuron to neuron, we can grow different. I think it's called synapses, and that could grow. And parts of it, which you know, they're talking about how to, no matter how old we are, keep physically well, exercise, but it was also do new things that would stimulate you, and you can connect different parts of your brain and possibly get the enthusiasm again. The
Well,
enthusiasm.
no, it's not enthusiasm. I would enjoy performing. I'm not. I'm looking at it that way. It's like it's the. It's just. It's not that available. You know.
Well, actually, we were talking in the show I
Well,
had
you've
yesterday.
got to understand. We fought this battle already. So you're talking about a battle that we already fought.
Well,
And
that we have to get into, but the whole thing is, it's we were talking about in the show yesterday. I had Sid Malcolm. It was about sometimes it's not the end result; it's a trip along the way. It's, you know, you have a goal,
yes, and I had an amazing trip.
but again, to do things is
Life was amazing. My, I, I, I didn't earn what I got away with. I just happened to be in the right spot at the right time with the right um, subject matter. Okay, uh, I mean it happened. I mean I I I I I had to audition for the chorus in high school or fail music, and I found out that I had a good ear for music, and I joined the chorus, and I was fascinated by the singing and the harmonies and all, and it made me want to work in the Catskill Mountains as a musician. So I learned the piano, which I was able to learn myself. I couldn't get taught the piano because they didn't want to teach me what I wanted to learn. They wanted to teach me scales and all of that stuff. And I said, no, I need to know how to play songs. Just tell me how to play songs. They said, you can't do that. So I created my own pathway to learn how to play songs. And within 3 months, I had a band.
yeah.
And as things came to me in front of me, I did them. You know, that's all. I just reacted. I had things things in front of me, and I reacted to them. I wrote songs. They said, did you ever write a song? I said, no. And we wrote a song. Did you ever produce a record? No. And we produced a record. Did I ever do anything? Did I ever write a screenplay? Did I ever produce a movie? No, but I did it. And I can't explain why, because people go to school for years to learn all of those things.
What, you know something, with a
And
lot
I
of
did
people,
them.
the opportunities arise, but they never seize it. They never seize the moment. You have the ability of seeing the opportunity, and what you like, you seize it and you go. And
Yes,
then,
but I had no prior knowledge to do what I did.
all right, and it didn't stop
I
you.
didn't, I wasn't a great musician. I still can't sight read music, okay? Where my grandson plays 9 instruments and sight reads everything, writes it all up. I didn't do that. I wrote chords down. I mean, they all studied in school whatever their craft was, including acting or singing or being musicians or whatever. They studied it. I didn't study any of that. When I went back to college when I was like 28 years old, I just took a general, liberal arts course because I wanted to get a college degree. The teachers were learning from me, you know. All the teachers wanted to do what I was doing. I was in the record business, producing hit records, involved in the whole thing. I mean, it was, and I felt proud of what I did, but I understand that it was not deep talent that I was dealing with. It was very middle level talent that I had and still have.
But what you did have the ability of, number one, seizing the opportunities that came upon you, and getting a group together that could make those opportunities actualities. And that's a talent. That's a talent of using your instinct. There's a whole courses on that. I remember, I think it was University of Dallas.
I wish it were true. To me, it was a why not.
Well, because
why not? Why not try? Why not? Why not? Why not join? She said, you can join the chorus if you want. I said, okay, why not?
Yeah, well, yeah,
I mean,
you're downplaying your ability to use your intuition to your best.
No, I'm saying
the results.
I'm saying. Well, I guess what I'm really saying is I accomplished way more than I was practically able to accomplish.
Well,
Okay.
again, we think a little differently. I think a little differently of you than you think.
Yeah, I don't make a big deal out of this. I just was damn lucky.
Yeah, but switching this a little bit, give me a history of the Ebbets Field hat.
Of what?
The Ebbets Field hat.
Oh,
the hat you're wearing.
Well, I mean, I used to go to Ebbets Field when I was a kid. When I was in 5th grade, that would make me what? I don't know.
11, 12.
10 or 11, no, 6, no, I wasn't 12. I was 13 when I was in the 8th grade. So I was 10, okay? 5th grade, Mrs. Kufferman was my teacher.
I remember her well.
We would go, when a lot of times during the school year, you would have the afternoon off. They would call off the afternoon in New York to grading or doing papers or doing whatever, And a lot of times those afternoons, we would, if we had a Elsie the cow cap from a bottle of milk.
10 wrappers.
Not the wrapper, the thing that you pulled right out of the top. It was a disc that had a little thing that pulled up that you pulled out. It had the picture of Elsie the cow. If you brought that to Ebbets Field, you could go to sit in the bleachers for 25 cents. So if you had 55 cents, you could go get a hot dog and popcorn or something and get into the stadium. And the trick was that the guy at the train, the subway in Brighton Beach knew us, let us get on the subway without paying.
I was trying to.
So we saved a dime. We had to pay on the way back because they didn't know us.
Yeah. What station was Ebbets Field? What station did you get off?
I believe we got off at
Bedford Avenue.
What?
Was it Bedford Avenue?
I think we had to we took one subway and then we took a shuttle.
Okay, now I took I remember
I don't remember the stop. Franklin Avenue, does that sound possible?
Yeah, well, there's a Franklin, but I don't think it was Franklin, because I used to take a train from Coney Island.
Yeah, well, I took it from Brighton Beach.
Yeah.
No, Park
Not Park Place.
Place. We got off.
Oh, I think it was Bedford Avenue, because I used to take the train also.
There was
Now,
no Bedford Avenue on the BMT.
but the question is, when you got into the bleachers, did you guys sneak down to the box seats at the by the 8th and 9th inning, or you stayed at the bleachers?
We didn't sneak. We walked down and asked. Sometimes they would let us, sometimes they wouldn't.
Oh, we used to sneak. We used to go.
It was an afternoon game, so they weren't packed.
But
So
in the late innings, like in the 7th or 8th innings, a lot of the older people in the box
left.
seats would leave. So
Yeah, but the
what we did
bleachers. You got to understand where the bleachers were. If you picture Ebbets Field, they were in center field.
Right, but yeah,
So you couldn't get there. You would have. It wasn't that you came down like here. You could walk down from the seats in the second tier and walk down. And this was different. You had to go all the way around the field to get to those seats on the field. So all we could do was go walk down the bleachers and go to those seats that were high up on the wall. You know what I mean? And straight where there was a little indent.
Right, yeah.
Where the wall met the black, we could go down there.
Anyway, what I remember is that we used to get out of the bleachers and go down to the box seat areas, and the adults guys would be coming out, and we'd say, "Could we have your ticket stubs?" So then we had the ticket stubs. So when we went into the box seats and the ushers asked us, "So where are you sitting?" Say, "Here's the stubs," and they couldn't say, "No, it's not yours."
Right, we didn't do that.
And we did that.
No.
But anyway, believe it or not, our half hour is up.
How do you like that?
And
well, thank you for listening, everybody. And thank you for listening. And it's always a pleasure.
yeah, and next week we're going to have Jay Leslie on the show.
Jumpin' Jay Leslie.
And
yes, my pal. I miss him.
And then you're going to talk to Norm Fox about getting some other people from the rock and roll era.
Absolutely.
Anyway, it's been fun. It's been an education. I will speak to you next week. Peace.